Yeah.
Pitching. And I just keep moving with my craft and do, and so
That's it. Goodbye.
like a lot of people. So I was like,
Hi guys.
And I love this world. And sometimes I wake up and I'll
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Shmeet Singh podcast. This is your boy Shmeet Singh, obviously hosting. And today we have someone all the way from Vancouver, Canada, a few hours away from where I am right now. So Arnav Mishra, the founder and CEO of Dine, a serial entrepreneur, and yeah, a great public speaker, interested in sustainability and a lot more things. So thank you so much for your time today and welcome.
Thank you so much, Ashmi. That means a lot. And yeah, I'm excited to chatting with you as well as sharing some of my experiences.
Yeah, obviously, I hope the listeners learn a lot, and we have fun as well, like having this conversation. So just kind of to get started, if you want to like just tell people about your background, and then also real quick, like what gets you out of bed every morning.
Absolutely. So, well, hello everyone listening to the podcast. So my name is Arnav, and I come from a travel dominant state in India. It's on the eastern coast called Odisha. So the fun fact about me is that other than being an entrepreneur, I love food and I absolutely love cooking, only for the special ladies though. And I have a big appetite for both food, life, and having fun. So for me, it has always been a work hard, play hard culture. And I guess that's what gets me up every morning because I'm always looking forward to some new adventures, new learnings, and actually, embracing the uncertainty each day has. And that allows you to learn so much more. And the thing which has kept me going is actually connecting with people, listening to their experiences and sharing these experiences because in entrepreneurship, you come across a lot of challenges. You come across a lot of ups and downs. And being a serial entrepreneur, I've seen this happen again and again. But the thing which keeps me going each day is these, small moments or small uncertainties, which make it fun, exciting, and, give you something more to do than just having a normal life. So it's living the moment, I guess.
And so you said like all these small moments kind of like, make up everything worth it and gives you like all this excitement. So I was curious about like, is there like one big moment in your life that you think like that kind of like changed you or like from as long as you remember you were always into this entrepreneurship and everything else?
So, I mean, there have been a lot of, big milestones. So the thing is, I always mention the big moments as milestones because there's always another one to come, which will supersede the previous one.
Yeah.
So I guess one of the biggest milestones has been, establishing my teams in different businesses as well as achieving certain things. So with my first business, it was actually about providing an edtech solution to, communities or underprivileged communities in India. In that, the biggest moment for me was just hearing a thank you from one of these students who didn't even know how to speak English, but in 2 months they learned how to speak English and they were able to just say thank you. And for me, that was like a big glorifying moment. For Dyne, my current startup, the biggest achievement so far was actually raising $250,000 in less than a week and now expanding the team across 6 different cities and each day seeing how the product is scaling up and onboarding new users. And for my sustainability company, the big achievement has been, signing some partnerships with UN Habitat, Boeing, and currently working with the Canadian government on some carbon offset projects. So the big moments are always, milestones. Each milestone always, gets superseded by some other milestone in the future. And, that's what is exciting because I like, seeing what more is there, and I am a hustler in a way that I like to focus on the next milestone as soon as I complete one. So
so that was like more about like your moments in business. I was curious, like before business, was there something like an incident or something that happened that also like you were like kind of like made you like think like, okay, entrepreneurship is sort of like what I want to do, or this is how I want to give back to the community?
Yes, I mean that's a very nice question. So back when I was 16, this is when I was in high school. So I had this one moment where, traditional Indian education focuses the students to do really well in math and science. And I had to go for a science degree with physics, chemistry, maths. And usually people had never given a chance to go beyond the traditional norms of science to explore something in commerce. But I always had an inclination towards economics. And there was this one moment in high school where I was interacting with a kid who was just 11 years old. And he told me that he would love to sell like the gum balls in school for erasers and stuff. He was trading things between his classmates. And I was like, that's exciting. Like, you are able to like do business. And I just took his idea. We started pitching it. And in 3 weeks, I was able to pitch 300 student ideas to one another. And all of this was just exchanging ideas on how people can do trade and business. And the creative ideas were starting from magnetism till even like, cartoons, to selling lemonade, to creating games and fests and so much other things. We decided to put a proposal together from the student community to the management, and we hosted the largest ever tech hackathon of India when we were just 16 years old. It was completely done by the
And what city was this?
This was in the city of Bhubaneswar, so the which is on the eastern part of India. And that was one of these moments where I was like, entrepreneurship is not about building a business. Entrepreneurship is about working with people, sharing ideas, and turning an idea into a concept that can build better money and value for not just you, but also for the people you're involving yourself with. So business is, business is not about the money. It's about the people you work with. And if you do it well, then that's what entrepreneurship is about. You are leading it, you are starting something on your own, and you are excelling it on that way. So maybe that is one of those moments you asked, like, is there a time like before I was an entrepreneur, before any of my professional achievements? I was 16 years old. I did not even plan on becoming an entrepreneur, but randomly, just by discussing ideas and trading ideas, sharing ideas, we were able to create something big. And about 6 years down the line, so that was in 2016, currently we are in 2022, so 8 years down the line, the entire event generates an annual revenue of $3.1 million.
Oh, so it's still going on.
It's a legacy going on. And that is what businesses are about, right? So like if you ask me a big achievement or a big milestone and how I got started, and what got me into this, it was those small interactions, like sharing ideas and all. And look where it started and look where it has gone. And I'm
so where's the 11-year-old kid now who you interacted with? Is he?
That guy currently is going into high school, I guess. He's he's preparing for his what do you say? Like, so in India, we have something known as the JEE exams, which is a joint engineering entrance. It's a big thing. Like more than 15 million kids appear for that exam for all the engineering colleges. So he's going towards that, and he's a prodigy. So I mean, he's gonna do pretty well. We do stay in touch. Like we just share some ideas here and there. But yeah, it's been exciting. So yeah.
Okay, so was there like, so before that, when you were 16 and you interacted with this 11-year-old, you never came across like business? Did it run in your family, or was that sort of the first time, like you were the first one from your family?
No, I mean, my family has a business lineage. So my dad is a first generation entrepreneur. He runs one of the largest geospatial companies in India. And I have seen him build his company as I've grown. Like the company is 25 years old and I'm 22. So essentially throughout my entire lifetime, I've seen that company grow. So business does run in our family, but in terms of having an academic background in business, scaling it up and actually taking it ahead now, that's where I have had to learn it my own way. And it has been quite good. So I always look up to my dad as a mentor as well as my best friend, because he has taught me everything from actually understanding that how businesses are supposed to be done ethically, how businesses are supposed to be scaled up, and how to convert startups into scale-ups. Because a lot of entrepreneurs these days are more focused into the startup realm. Nobody is focused on to building scale-ups and legacy businesses. Businesses which go on for, like family lifetime, like 5 or 6 generational wealth. People are now just interested in creating fast companies, growing evaluations, and
getting an exit going
to the market. And that's it. Like that's what they're focused on. Nobody's actually focused on building a business which can sustain itself for more than 20, 30 years in a row. And without having any hiccups or having a smooth runway. Now that's where traditional businessmen and business families come in. They have understood that generational business. They have understood the legacy business, that it starts slow, it picks up the pace slow, but it's a steady route. It climbs very steady.
And so is your dad now involved with Dyne, or was he involved with your previous business that you sold?
No. That's actually kind of interesting. Like me and my dad have nothing to do with businesses. Like we are each other's best buddies. So other than grabbing drinks and criticizing each other's business, we do not do business together. we like to keep that apart because
I think that's good because like you can keep the professional and like personal life separate, and yeah.
Absolutely. So that's one of the things we look forward to in terms of building a good family relation. And once your family relations are strong, your business relations eventually become strong. So
'Cause it's all about the people, right?
exactly, it's all about the people. It comes
Yeah.
back to the people. So for me and
Yeah.
my dad, like even though we do not involve each other directly in our businesses, of course there's an element of influence. Like I always take in his feedback and his
Definitely.
opinions and thoughts, and he also takes in my ideas. And also we do see a degree of influence. I mean, you can't say no to father and son.
Yeah.
We do discuss, but
Yeah.
of course there's no direct involvement in each of our businesses.
Okay. Awesome. So I want to obviously I want to spend a large portion of this talk talking about Dine. But before that, I wanted to kind of track back. So because you said you started a business already when you were in high school and you sold that business, right?
Yeah.
So and you said an edtech business. So can you give more information regarding that, like how you got the idea with that and how you exited from it?
Sure. So my first business, it was called Atwa. It was essentially EdTech solution. So again, going back, my family comes from a tribal dominant state, so a lot of underprivileged communities, and we had more than 80% of the population actually not getting access to education, and even the access in terms of the local dialects. So India is quite a diverse country, and English is definitely not the first language. Each of the province, each of the communities speak a different dialect of a language. So it was very difficult for students to learn. We developed a edtech solution in terms of developing small educational modules in which people could learn skill sets such as life sciences, economics, money, and trade. Like there were so many kids we saw who were struggling to even go to a shop and buy certain medicine or commodities because they didn't understand what paper currency is. They do not know the value of 1 Indian rupee. They don't know how much it costs and how much change you need to bring in and stuff like that. So we started developing life skill modules. We developed modules on sanitation, health, sexual wellness, well-being, mental health, and started working with the communities. It started as a community project between 6 of my friends, and we wanted to start with some local schools and the rural slums and all. But eventually that network grew from just 15 schools to currently hosting approximately 15,000 plus schools and helping more than 10 million students. So the company was taken over by Tata Trust, one of the conglomerates, because they wanted a network in the tribal diaspora, as well as they wanted to build on their community engagement and the CSR initiatives. And plus, I mean, when I was 18, I was planning on taking on my higher education and I had to move to Canada. So I was not going to be able to continue the business in India. So we did an exit in 2018. And that's when I moved to Canada and I started my education with UBC and dual degree for business.
So when you were giving this education, was it like in a physical place, or was that all digital?
So we actually did both. We did so that's why we actually did better in COVID, because we already had a hybrid setup. So initially the students would be given printed materials, like those modules printed out as PowerPoints or Google Sheets and stuff. And eventually we taught them how to use computers, how to access modules online, how to simply understand what is written, because, they could not even understand Hindi, which is one of the biggest. So Hindi is not a national language, but it's one of the most spoken languages in India. They did not understand that. So the issue with language, communication, culture, embracing, and also bringing them into the urban context of actually living and getting a livelihood. Now that's what we were focusing in. And we delivered these modules in the way they would understand. So they are local languages, printed, digital, virtual, based on a combination of things. And we, of course, had a big volunteer network. So we asked students to teach other students, because that's where, the age gap is not there. So when you and I are talking, our age gap is, quite negligible. So you and I are like buddies. So we try to learn from each other. We try to see, oh, you know what, Ishmeet is doing this, so I can maybe also do this. Arnav is doing this, maybe I can do it, because you feel more comfortable seeing that, oh, that guy is doing it. He's my age. He looks like me. He speaks like me. And, it's just easier to vibe with them. So,
exactly. Yeah, I think we take it for advantage. A lot of these things, like you said, that the basic skills, like interacting with shopkeepers in a medicine place, like pharmacy, or even rebooting your computer, trying to extract information, accessing modules. We take all of that for such like, yeah, like that's amazing. So, you said it's still running, right? And how they following the same kind of like
No, they
business
have
model that you did,
completely,
or
no, they've changed the entire structure. So now the team is much bigger. They have big,
okay,
procedures, systems,
makes sense.
departments, and all in place. So I mean, I'm just involved in a couple of the, the board meetings and stuff.
Yeah,
But now it has evolved into quite a business, which everybody is, benefiting from. So now what started as a concept was just between us friends, but now the business is thriving and we're doing quite well. So I wish the current team the best. It's always a pleasure to see like, your dreams coming true. And it doesn't matter whether it's my job or someone else did it, as long as the community is benefiting from it and people are actually enjoying it. That's what matters, right? So like, as long as the community benefits, I'm happy with it.
So how did your very first class in it look like? Did you just gather some kids like from around your area, like who you thought needed the help, and just made them sit down in a class or something? Or how do you do that very first?
Yeah, like a couple of my friends, they had some of their networks, and we just went into a couple of schools and said that we just want to do some complimentary or community service modules and stuff like that, because when you are like 16, 17 years old and you're preparing to go abroad, you need to do some community service, some engagement and stuff like that. So it actually started like that. We just wanted certificates. We just wanted to show that we are doing some community service.
That's interesting.
Then when we saw that this can actually have an impact, now that's when we got serious about it. And the biggest highlight for me in this entire journey was, it's not the money, not the fame. It's just the fact that I was leaving India and I was going to come to Canada. I see 20, 30 different kids just rushing at the airport, running towards me. And I was like, I recognized these kids from one of the classes, and they just gave me a big card which said, "Thank you, Arnav," in perfectly spelled English with the full stops and commas. And I was like, wow, like I broke down into tears. I was like, I don't know if I want to leave, because I mean, this is the entire impact I wanted to see. It was not the money, it was not the fame.
Yeah,
it was
for sure.
People felt grateful because they felt the change. And I always had a saying, like Mahatma Gandhi used to actually say this: be the change you wish to see.
Yep.
I was able to bring that change, no matter how big or small it is. So that's what mattered to me in the end.
Oh, that's actually pretty inspiring. And congratulations for that exit.
Yeah.
Let's move into more like your modern stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So, so you are working in Dine right now. That's your current business.
Yes.
How did you get the idea for Dine?
Oh, so you want the professional answer or the honest answer?
Let's be honest in this podcast.
Okay, let's go.
If you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, think about this. You're 19 years old in college. COVID hits. You're all alone. So what do? You call your friends, you start smoking up, and you do hackathons together.
Yeah.
So when you're high, you really want to eat, okay? Like you feel very hungry. So you decide to order some food, but food doesn't come because people decide that during COVID, nobody wants to deliver food. That was a huge issue.
Yeah.
So while all of this is happening, one of my friends and I, we were just discussing, we were like, let's connect people over food. How amazing would that be? And then we go out and we are like, it's been a while since we have been on dates. And if you want to go on a date, you need to go to a restaurant. But, being the broke ass college students we are like, we want to save some money at a restaurant. How do we do that? So there's so many questions coming onto our head. And all of this, while being high, drives your brain crazy. You're rushing. You're going at 200 kilometers an hour in your brain. And you're like, oh shit, what's going to happen? And then while all of this is going, at the same time, I was actually interning with Deloitte for my summer internships and all. Okay. So in Canada, we have these co-op terms where you have to work with a company for about 16 months. And that was my Deloitte internship. So I was working with Deloitte. 4-month internships, but in 4 different segments. And whenever I worked, I saw a lot of these small businesses listing themselves for services. Now, I saw the market gap. I was like, small businesses need some tech solutions to build businesses. And kids and students need to save money and they want to connect over food. And I can solve this by connecting the dots. So, there was a boom eureka moment that, you're high, you're enlightened, and you're seeing things clearly. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh shit, let's bring 2 + 2 together.
Yeah,
so
start writing out the business plan and everything.
Yeah, you start with the business plan and everything. And it started initially as a concept just to, have people hang out, meet, and just have a good time. But as the traction picked up. We started with just 4 people meeting once a week. It's became about 1,200 people doing meetups each week. And from that 1,200, we decided to now create an app. We are like, we need to build some platform which can handle this much of traffic and can schedule.
Wait, so before you build the app, sorry, from 4 to 1,200, how do you get that
It was
outreach?
just based on group chats and Excel sheets. So
Okay.
it was a big ass Google sheet in which we were just, scheduling.
So that was your MVP.
That was my MVP. It was essentially like a Excel sheet or like a Calendly, if you know, like how Calendly does scheduling. It was like, oh, Arnav is free at 7:30. I'm free at 7:30. Let me just go there and select this. So we built a stupid website on Wix. So Wix has these scheduling services. We just built a prototype. People would be scheduling it. We would be inputting it in the Excel sheets, and we'll be seeing, okay, so this group can go to McDonald's, this group can go to Tim Hortons, this group can go into, let's say, Milano Casa, which is like an Italian restaurant nearby and stuff. So we are just scheduling and planning these reservations and all. And it was good because, initially it was just like 4 or 5 of us just hanging out once a week. But then within like 4 weeks of us doing it, we had more and more people asking us for this. And all of a sudden, within 1 or 2 months, we had 1,200 people each.
That's crazy.
Going in. And that's when we were like, oh shit, we need to design an app. So
were all these people from UBC as well? Or?
It was all students from UBC itself. So UBC is quite a big school. We have 69,000 students in UBC currently. And out of that, even currently Dine actually has just tapped 10%, which is like 6,000 students in UBC. So Dine's entire total user base is around 13,000. 6,000 comes from UBC itself, and the rest is divided across different cities and different universities that we have in our network. But the majority actually is still UBC.
And you're targeting college students as well, right? I'm guessing, or at least like Gen Z.
So, yeah, I mean, we do want to target. We have a couple of market verticals. We want to focus in terms of the university partnerships and students. We want to focus in collaborations with corporates. So we're actually working with big corporates like EY and Microsoft now in bringing their employees discounts. So like you know how employees get some exclusive corporate discounts and all. So we are creating some Dine tiers in which corporates can give their employees some discounts in all our partner restaurants. So we have a restaurant network of 600 plus clients, and people just enjoy that while getting discounts across different cities in Canada and states now.
Okay, wait. So real quick, like in 30 seconds, in case like people haven't understood, like what exactly is Dine, and what pain point does it solve?
Yeah, so Dine is essentially a SaaS-based business in the restaurant marketplace in which we provide machine learning and data analytics solutions to restaurants to scale their business. To make it fun, we also have a B2C mobile app that allows users to find different restaurants in the network, get some deals and discounts, and use our gamified features to actually, go on quests and find the hidden gems, go bar hopping, celebrate some events. And the best part, you get exclusive discounts and perks as you do through this. So the way you accumulate your air miles or hotel points, we use Dine points, which can be redeemed for big chains like Starbucks, Tim Hortons, and now Yum Brands, which has Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and much more. We have created an economy which connects the traffic from the B2C component, driving all our users to going into our partner restaurants. This drives data and traffic both into the restaurants to fill in their seats. Because while every other player wanted to deliver food, like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Skip Dishes, wanted to deliver food, we wanted to deliver people into the restaurant seats and fill in and actually build the revenue and scale it up.
That's deep.
And that's exactly where the business model connected, that the B2C component merging with the B2B component, giving the analytics to the restaurants, telling them on their pricing strategies, marketing automations, building their machine learning insights in terms of what combos, what coupons, what deals and happy hour stuff they can do to allow them to scale it up. Because if all the big restaurants have all these technologies, why should the small ones be left out?
Definitely,
so we target the mid-tier restaurants. We target the one-off cafes, one-off coffee shops, mom and pop
near the
shops.
college campuses and stuff like that.
Exactly, near the college campuses to give them a playing field to scale up their businesses.
Yeah.
And of course, while we do that, I have the best job in the world to connect people over food and go on as many dates as I want because, I can control expense that shit.
That was pretty good, delivering people to the restaurants, and that was a really nice pitch. It's like you had it prepared. Everything. That's how you raised money as well. So I was curious about I mean, you must have done like market research and, iteration on this, but have you ever thought of other ways people could connect, like not just via food, but so obviously right now you're doing like restaurants. So I always thought like, why don't you think it would work for something like maybe bars or clubs? Because there are a lot of like bars, like for example, around college campuses, right?
We do. So we do everything from cafes, restaurant, bars, nightclubs, pubs, you name it, we have it. And the concept about food or anything related around food is something which has been there since the beginning of humanity. I consider no matter which culture, economic background, or ethnicity you come from, people have a habit of grabbing a meal with their family, sitting on the table and eating together. And that's one activity which is there throughout the world, despite of the diversity we see. And that is what connects people and brings people together. And we have seen this since the early 1200s, in which people used to gather in small pubs and all in the community halls and stuff, to till date where people are going out and grabbing meals and stuff like that. So we wanted to focus on food, but of course food is not limited to restaurants. You have everything from food trucks, cafes, pubs, nightclubs, even like these grab and go stuff. So Dine is trying to create that ecosystem that no matter what, you still have an option to connect with someone while you are grabbing a bite. So even if you're standing in the line for Subway to even dining in a 5-star restaurant, you can still have a meaningful conversation and something exciting might just pop up. You might find your next wife, you might find your next friend, or you might even just make a new friend. And we are there at each step of the way.
So what advantages do you get? Like if I'm a user and if I suppose want to go to a bar, do I get to skip lines? Do I get like a special table or something? Do I get discounts in the drinks or?
Absolutely. So, I mean, it depends. So just to make it more gamified and fun, Dine has different tier systems. So the more you use Dine, your tier status increases. Sure. So of course, in the beginning, you just get some normal discounts and some points. The more loyal program members, they get skip the lines, they get exclusive reservations. They even get, free meals and free stuff. Like, let's say if you're ordering a pizza, we might just give you some drinks free and stuff like that. So as you go on exploring, your loyalty tier increases. And the way your loyalty tier increases, your incentives and your perks also increase. This is the same thing, hotels do, airlines has been.
Like a reward point system.
Exactly. The point system is incentivizing and it's fun. And the best part is that we kind of make a leaderboard out of it. So you can actually see your friends each month.
I was going to say that's what all the Gen Z, especially people just right? Costumes, gamifying and seeing what the people around them, what their friends, how much they're getting points. And
absolutely, yeah.
So, so it's more, I was wondering, so it's more about if they going to the restaurants that you're partnering with as opposed to a specific restaurant. So for example, there's a restaurant called XYZ, and the more they go there, the more perks they get for going there, right? Because that gives them an incentive. Okay, hey, there's 2 bars, XYZ or ABZ. If I keep going to XYZ more, then I'll get more perks. Is that how it works, or is it like a same ecosystem?
I mean, again, restaurants, bars, or any let's say the hospitality industry. Hospitality industry values loyalty a lot. They want to promote loyal customers coming in again and again, and it also feels nice because they feel like they have your support. You feel like you get a special treatment and the service is good. So we want to promote people going to the same place again and again and gaining more loyal points. However, of course, people have a habit of exploring a little bit more. They always want to look for that next adventure. And that's where, based on their interests, based on their, spending pattern and their friend groups and their interests and everything, we use our machine learning algorithms to tell people where they should go. We introduce new offers in the same area of a pub they are going in. And it's not taking away the loyalty. It's about bringing in a positive competition and giving some incentives to our users to try out new places and to the new places to see whether they can provide the same level of service that the other pub or restaurant can provide to this individual while maintaining their branding and their own unique features and services.
Okay. So loyalty is important, but you guys want them to explore as well. So it's not just about the one restaurant or one bar that they go to. It's more about using the app and going to bars that are actually within the ecosystem of Dine.
It's not just the ecosystem of Dine. We also, go beyond our own ecosystem because even if someone has not partnered up with us, we like our users to go there and create meetups because we like to see and gain market insights that why is this person going into this place? Like, why is Ishmeet, really, what's your top 3 cuisines, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, like I like Indian.
Yeah.
I like Thai food and like Mexican,
Great. So I mean,
Mediterranean as well.
yeah. So if I just give you Indian food for 7 days a week, you won't like it.
Yeah,
But if I
obviously. Yeah,
spice it up with like, one day Indian, one day Mexican, maybe a couple of days Italian, Mediterranean, you
yeah,
will like it. So,
yeah,
and it's not the fact that you're going to say that, oh, Indian food is not good. Like, but you're happy getting Indian food once a day
yeah.
or once a week.
Makes sense.
But you don't want to do it every day, right? So
Yeah,
we like to incentivize users on that one aspect, that they don't want to do the same thing again and again each day. They will do it once a week, maybe once in 2 weeks. And that still, shows your loyalty and shows your interest and preferences, that it still is one of my favorite cuisines. It still is one of my favorite places. But yeah, you will sure and can explore new places as well, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. I was thinking of more like, like in places where you'd go like once a week or twice a week, right? For example, like if you'd go to like a bar or nightclub, but even that, you probably don't want to like keep going to the same bar or nightclub once a week. Even that's like, if you do that for an extended period, that gets boring as well, I guess. So, yeah, that's a fair point. I wanted to reference one thing, like in one of your articles, you said that you mentioned this, that like you discovered that during the lockdowns, restaurants only earn an average of $200 each day. And so have you tracked how much you guys have improved like these restaurants, like business? Okay.
Yeah, so on an average, each restaurant we have worked, so this is a data set of about 220 different restaurants.
Yeah.
We have seen a 9 times revenue growth for each of our clients. So our clients who used to only make like $200 or $250 a day are now making a little north of about $2,000 or $3,000 a day. That is approximately a 10 times increase in their revenue. And it's just these small restaurants. Some big restaurants, which were making approximately $15,000 a day, are now generating a little north of about $60,000 a day. So even if the growth is 4 times, you see the scale of it, it's different. So with each restaurant Dine works with, we target our matrices based on the number of people coming in, the quality of service, the number of orders placed, the basket size, so each order, the pricing, and even giving the outreach marketing automations just to bring the restaurants maximum revenue and maximum margins in what services they're offering.
So how, do these restaurants pay like a subscription like thing to you guys, or okay?
So considering it's a SaaS-based business, restaurants have a monthly subscription. So they pay us base tier fee and based on all the services they want. So if someone wants machine learning, we charge them extra $100. If someone wants marketing, maybe another $50. Someone wants an influencer coming in, we have a lot of them in our network, we charge them another $200. So it depends on what services and add-ons you want. So it's like a subscription tier model, which is pretty common these days with a lot of businesses coming up.
What about the consumer side though?
Consumer is completely free because we wanted to just incentivize them and let them have fun. So our mobile app is completely free. Even all the coupons and everything you have, it's free. But of course, you have to use your Dine points to make it purchase. And Dine points are essentially free. I mean, the more meetups you go, the more points you get.
Yeah.
The points are kind of like a loyalty thing, but at the same time, they are free of cost for you technically.
Okay. And what is your like current state of the business right now? So, okay, I guess you told me that you're expanding, right? So where are you trying to expand in like all that stuff?
Yeah, so Dine currently, I mean, we have both our mobile as well as our machine learning dashboard in its beta stage. So we are still beta testing with a lot of different features and a lot of different markets. So currently we are going across 6 different cities, 4 in Canada, 2 in States, and we have started operations. Our future plans include of expanding into 3 more cities, as well as adding another 2 or 3 different new features in terms of providing a better user engagement on the mobile app, and adding another 7 or 8 features in terms of the restaurant side to provide them a better client engagement and client experience. So the plans have expanded a lot. We just landed Microsoft as our partner. So Microsoft is now helping us scale this entire product as well as bring it with new, modifications, new cloud technology to allow us to scale globally without having to worry about, the technology holding us back.
And are you the sole founder, or do you have like how big is your team?
I'm the sole founder of the company, but of course, my team is the one which makes Dine happen.
Yeah,
you can't
the people.
It's the people. So, you can't have a company about food and people without having the people and the team running it.
Yeah.
So, very grateful to my team across different cities. So, we have about 14 people in Vancouver, 2 or 3 in Toronto, 1 or 2 in Calgary, 1 or 2 in Seattle. So they're different places. They're the ones running the show. They're the ones, engaging everything and constantly engaging with the market, getting us the feedback, getting us the new ideas, brainstorming, and of course, keeping the hustle alive. So it's the growth of the company which is defined by the people, and I'm really happy and super proud of my team on this.
For sure. And so there's obviously like competitors, right? What's your you think your unique selling point? And
so I mean, of course. So the thing is we actually don't have any direct competitors, but of course there's a lot of indirect competitors.
Yeah.
The ones which distinguish us is the Dyne in machine learning analytics. So the Dine component is essentially the one in which focuses restaurants, businesses inside a restaurant. A lot of players, like I mentioned, Uber Eats, Google, and a lot of analytics companies, they all focus in delivery insights. They see what the delivery pattern is like, optimization, pricing, and stuff like that. Nobody focuses on the actual management inside the restaurant, starting from the staffing, starting from pricing and all. And that's where Dine comes in. And it really stands out in the restaurant space. In the mobile app space, in the social networking side, most apps like Snap, Facebook, they have done amazing job in terms of communicating, communities as well as bringing in people online. However, what we do is we incentivize to get them offline. So using an app, you are actually going out and meeting people in person.
Definitely,
actually spending time with people, and you're not addicted to your phones. And we actually have seen that our app is so smooth and so effortless. We wanted people to just meet each other within 5 clicks. We don't want people to be on our app. We don't want our people to be there on the app scrolling. We want people to, tuck, 3 or 4 clicks, boom, you're there in front of each other and actually start spending some time. So there are a lot of features which has been developed in Dine just to make sure that people get out of their cell phones, and using the gamified component in the same cell phones and their smartphones, they actually go out in the real world. And that is what is building the community and bringing people to socialize after the pandemic and actually, bring back the aspect of the community as well as the local engagement, which we have seen before the pandemic in a way.
Okay. Extremely logistics heavy, extremely operational heavy, just so many nuances to this business. What has been the biggest challenge for you in the startup?
Of course, the biggest challenge is always with the logistics, like you mentioned. Yeah. It's discussing different client problems, understanding different restaurants, and no matter what the industry is, has a lot to learn. Starting from simple things as just, how does the iPad work in terms of turning it on and connecting it to Wi-Fi, to even understanding which machine learning algorithm can forecast their revenue and pricing strategies. There has been a lot of challenges. The biggest one so far has been actually motivating the team and keeping them engaged, because my entire team is under 25 years old. Yeah. And we like it because we like to have a young team which can push ahead. But of course, keeping them motivated, making them understand on how professionalism works and delivering the results to these restaurants across different segments. So they are like these mom and pop shops, very owned by families and old people. And then there are these chains which are owned by managers and franchises and stuff like that. And these guys are tech savvy, and also we have to maintain client relations. So client relations and motivation is the 2 biggest challenges every time in the business. But like I always say, business is about people, right? So if I solve these 2 challenges, there's no opportunity as well. And every crisis is an opportunity in disguise. So all these problems are actually giving me new doors and new avenues to expand the business into, so which is good.
What do you think is like a strong point that you bring into this company? Is it like connecting to people and delegating the tasks, or do you think like there's something else you're focusing on? And obviously you're 22 years old, but do you think in the future you see yourself maybe getting a more a seasoned CEO, or you think you're up for this task in the long term as well?
So in my opinion, after, having 3 different companies, I have realized one thing: the founder is both the president as well as the janitor. So you need to be ready.
That's amazing. Yeah.
You need to be ready to wear the suit at 9 a.m. and things, but you also need to be ready to wear the apron and clean up all the mess with your teammates. So the biggest skill set I bring into my team is the vibes. I always say that I am a guy who needs to make sure my team is ready to do the job. Because if you are actually an entrepreneur, and this is to anyone who's listening to the podcast as well and wants to be an entrepreneur, the biggest part about being an entrepreneur is that your business makes money when you are sleeping. Because if you're awake and your business is making money, you are essentially having an hourly rate or hourly wage or something like that. Yeah. You might be making $500 an hour, that's fine, but you still have an hourly rate.
You still have to put in the work,
Exactly, you're putting in the work. But if your business makes money when you are sleeping, that means the people are working and the business model is working. You know that you're a true entrepreneur. And that's what the biggest skill set is. It's about motivating the people. It's about driving and having that vision that you can deliver this when nobody else can. But at the same time, this should not make you cocky, because there are times where I have personally stepped down from that CEO position, going into interns, legit running around the campuses, going to restaurants, washing dishes in restaurants, serving in restaurants, and even discussing, how I can improvise and improve things in the future. So there's this one day in just last May, this May, I was in an investor call at 11 a.m. and at 11:30 I was serving drinks at a bar. 1 o'clock I was pitching for $100,000 again, and at 2 o'clock I was then serving in a different restaurant, and 3 o'clock I was with my team handling an HR crisis. 5 o'clock I was doing accounting. 6 o'clock I was with my friends hanging out in the beach, and at 7 o'clock I was back home spending time with my family, grabbing a dinner with my mom and dad. And I was like, my day has been crazy. I have gone through everything. And I love that, because that's what you bring into the table. Each founder, each CEO needs to realize that while you have the most amazing job in your company, you are also responsible to finish every other's job. So if someone is failing, you need to be at their back. It's not that the team has my back. It's about me having the team's back and fulfilling each of the position which is there in the team, motivating them and saying that, don't worry, I'm here. If you can't do it, I'll be the one handling it. And if they have this assurance, they will do their best to get the work done. And that's what, makes good teams succeed.
You said some really interesting things. So you said the vibes is what, you bring different. That's interesting, because I had there's another 22-year-old founder, Luca, your fellow launch house. Remember, I asked him a similar question, and he told me that he thinks he brings into the team is and their company's entire mode, he thinks is the vibes and the thing he brings in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then
so the biggest thing about a founder is establishing the company culture. The company culture is not defined by bylaws or any paperwork. It's defined by the energy and the passion each founder or their management team has. So that is why companies like Google, Apple, they grew because of their culture. And companies like Intel, IBM, these companies were big tech giants, but they are now a little behind on the race. Why? Because of the company culture. Now we hear so many things about Tesla, good and bad, and it's all around the company culture. So big companies which are actually scaling up, they scale up based on culture. They scale up based on the values. But the companies, of course, which are scaling up rapidly and they are not giving a shit about their culture, they are not companies for legacies. They are companies for just an exit. And that's essentially they have the exit date in mind, and that's what they're building the companies for. They are not building a company just for actual business. So that's
I also think it's super important, especially for young founders as well, because you want to be able to convince people to join in the company, and you want to be able to convince other bright, smart young people to join your company so they can stay in the long term and continue building the business, right? And so for that, it's very important. I think for especially younger people, it's very important how the entire atmosphere and vibes and just the moral codes of that business is, and they want to work in a culture that's kind of suits them and that's fast paced and innovative and stuff. So another interesting thing I found was that you told me was the president and the janitor thing. That's actually pretty that's something to think about. That's pretty cool. So obviously focus is a lot about saying no, you're a serial entrepreneur, but right now you're working on Dine. But what are the problems you think you face day to day, or just, things that come into your mind, maybe when you were high or whatever, and you thought maybe if you weren't working in Dine, you wish you were working on that, or you wish someone else was working on that specific problem?
So, I am a guy who likes to live the moment. So I would not say that if I was not doing Dine, I would be doing something else. If I was not doing Dine, I'll probably be building another business or something. So for me, it has always been game of opportunity cost. And of course, as a founder, you have to make some difficult decisions each day. One of the biggest challenges, of course, is finding the right people and understanding the right people. And I'm still learning. There's no best way on getting out of this challenge of building the right team and finding the right people. You just learn from your mistakes, and you learn from other people's mistakes to scale up your own business. One of the biggest challenges I also face is that, at this age, I'm still in university. So balancing school as well as balancing my commitments. So, as a student, my commitment is to do well in academics. As a 22-year-old, my commitment is to, build my friendships and maintain my relations. I also have commitments towards my company of being responsible and being the visionary as well as the support system they need. And of course, as only child in my family, my responsibility is to support my family and everything else. So there's a lot of different hats one has to wear, and balancing all those and balancing your time and juggling all those is a challenge at times. But of course, nothing is not solvable. You just need to sometimes put in your hours, put in the I sound like a rock. It's about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry. The thing is you just need to put in the time and put in your best efforts and try your best, because that will either give you the things you want to achieve, or will possibly tell you how to do it better. I mean, it's quite simple. You are not happy with your lifestyle, get up, get out of your house, go out, start meeting people. You're not happy with the money you make, well, work harder, find a better job, and work, do something which will make you happy. So I hate people who give excuses, because excuses will make you lazy. But the ones who use the excuses and turn those excuses into points to actionable items, they are the ones who can make the change happen. And that's what I keep on focusing on. So whatever excuse I give myself, I'm like, no, tomorrow I won't give the excuse. I'll give a plan of action. I'll give a solution. Wow. That's what makes it easier for me to manage my time, manage my priorities, and focus on.
And so there's no other problem you think you would be solving that you might have come across something, or?
I mean, there's so many problems I want to solve. So a big part about me as an entrepreneur is
you're always looking for things.
Yeah, exactly. Always looking for things, always looking for solutions to different problems. Even with Luca, when I met him in Launch House, the entrepreneur you spoke about, Luca introduced me to this caffeine vapes. And even though I had nothing about the vaping industry, I was super involved. I was like, oh my goodness, I think we can do this. We can optimize the shipping channel. We can do this and that. And he's like, aren't you in the restaurant industry? Aren't you in the machine learning industry? I was like, yeah, I am into the machine learning space, but I just like having fun and solving problems. And one of the things which I'm passionate is actually impacting the community and giving back to the community I'm involved in. And right now, that's my new focus is based on sustainability, because there's a lot of discussion and a lot of talk around the carbon markets, and everybody is trying to go into sustainability. But most companies are proposing theories. I'm not a guy who likes theory. I'm the guy who likes to do the practical stuff. So I started, negotiating and working with projects across the world, implementing solutions with big partners, and actually working and restoring Himalayan forest, actually working and implementing solutions in Africa, working with the Indonesian communities for flood management, and working towards sustainable goals, sustainable communities. And that's something I'm passionate about. So if I was not doing Dine, I'll probably be building something in lines of sustainable development and sustainability. But of course, it's not sustainable. Yeah.
How are you doing this? You said you're solving these problems. How exactly were you doing that in, you said, in Africa and the Himalayas and stuff?
So one of my other company, my last company, so the company I work, Spark, it's my family's business as well, and we provide a lot of geospatial solutions. We have now started a new sustainability division in which we are providing everything from ESG reporting to compliance management and decarbonization techniques. So the carbon markets has been growing as a big topic. And I'm entering that market by providing solutions as a marketplace, as a one-stop shop from everything from design, advisory, and project management, as well as actually partnering up with big companies like UN Habitat, World Bank, federal governments of India, federal governments of Indonesia, Africa, and building projects which do restoration of our environment. So environmental projects which focus either on mining, forestry, agriculture, to ensure that we are building the community and our society for the next 25 to 30 years. And those are the sustainable goals which our world, our community has agreed based on the UN framework. They're trying to deliver that by 2030. So we are catering one-off projects. No project is similar to each other, but these one-off projects are focused in different industries. So starting from mining, forestry, agriculture, urban management, water resources, it's a lot, but we are catering to these one projects and seeing how we can make an impact in the community.
Okay. Awesome. And that's just but that's not where most of your time is going, right? How do you divide your time?
So most of my time still goes to Dine. So Dine is my baby and it's my startup. So I still spend most of my time with Dyne, at least 6 or 7 hours each day. As a student, I do have to give about 4 or 5 hours each day to, just academics and making sure that I don't fail my classes. Another 4 or 5 hours goes towards Spark and establishing these projects and working on solutions. And the rest of the time, I'm still a student. I'm still 21 years old, 22 years old. So I have to go on dates. I have to drink a lot and I have to party a lot. So rest of the time is, enjoying my life as a 20-year-old. And of course, whatever little time I have left, like 4 or 5 hours, that's the time I sleep. I Netflix. And
4 or 5. How long do you sleep every night?
Usually I try to get 6 hours, but sometimes
really
it's around 5. So if I get 6, I'm very happy. And of course, I always, coming from a Indian family, I'm big on naps. So, afternoon naps, like that's an Indian cultural thing, I guess. Everybody loves taking naps. And I absolutely feel that's one of the most efficient ways of managing your time, because every time I take a nap and I wake up, I feel so refreshed and so energetic. It's like having 2 different mornings each day. So many people say that, mornings are the best way to utilize and get the work done.
Yeah.
And they say early bird gets the worm. It's because you focus. Your brain is just refreshed, weighted, and you are able to deliver on things. But the thing is, if you take a nap, you essentially wake up and you have a second morning to your day. So you have a second phase. So usually in the morning, I'm working on Dine and I'm getting all my stuff done. I take a nap, I wake up, I change gears, and I'm like, let's focus on Spark. Then I, again, take a break, and then I'm like, let's go into my social life, maybe my academic life and stuff like that. So breaks are a great way of de-stressing, as well as, dividing your different priorities and allowing you to change different hats.
Yeah. How long are your naps? Just 30-minute naps, or?
Honestly, they are usually 30 to 45 minutes. But, sometimes...
Like a power nap.
Yeah, sometimes, but if I'm very tired, that's the best part being an entrepreneur. I don't have to run by my schedule. Like, my schedule doesn't run me. I decide what my schedule is going to be. So if I want to take a longer nap for 2 or 3 hours, I can do it as well. But usually it's 30 to 45 minutes just to, give me a power nap, get me recharged and back on action. But at the same time, I never decide a specific time. And it's fine, because if I have a specific time and things decided, I'm a robot. I'm essentially, following a specific clock. And that's not what I want to do. I want to have my creativity. I want to have my space, and I want to have the flexibility. And that's one of the reasons I became an entrepreneur. That I want to have my own flexibility in deciding when I can work, when I can sleep, when I can have fun, and at the same time, enjoy each moment of my life.
Yeah. Okay, to try to switch a bit, I wanted to know your thoughts on like Gen Z businesses and sort of like what sort of problems you think like our current generation, people who are in the 20s or graduating college and stuff right now are going to be solving. Like, what sort of problems do you see people?
So Gen Z businesses, again, like we initially started as a discussion, a lot of Gen Zs, including me at times, we keep on thinking about money, and we think of fame and popularity within years. We do not consider the legacy. We don't consider the family and the community aspect, which actually built businesses, which have started new businesses in the last decade or two. So Gen Z businesses are fads, and I would say traditional businesses are more like fashion. So the concept of fads and fashion, like fads is something which goes on for a couple of years or months and then it perishes. That's what Gen Zs are going for.
Yeah.
They want quick, fashionable, stylish, great looking, great sounding business ideas which scale up and have a quick exit, and they want to do something more. And this is not bad nor good. It is good for the people who want to do this, and it's bad for the people who want to go for the traditional line. So it really depends on which spectrum you're falling into. But I would say that Gen Zs are more interested in terms of
quick return
results, rather than having the patience to, build it and test it and then see how this is scaling up or not.
What would be your advice to them? Do you think they should focus more on legacy businesses, or is that just an individual thing?
So another thing about Gen Zs is that we are too scared. We are scared to take risks. We somehow feel like, we are not ready for this, or we feel like we are not old enough, or we are not enough. But then I tell them that my biggest advice is that this is the time where you can do shit and not regret it. Because you can fail at this point. Like, even if I'm 22 years old, I can completely fail in my business idea and still have a career from 25 to 50 years old.
Yeah.
And that's fine. People will not remember.
Yeah.
But the fact that people are so scared about failing and so scared about, running out of time, that's what scares me about Gen Z businesses. So my advice to them is that get out there, try it out, fall a couple of times, fail a couple of times, and then learn from your mistakes and build something great. Because
Yeah.
at this point, you have nothing to lose but your own time. And
Yeah.
you have plenty of fucking time in the world. You can actually, build yourself and actually see what you want to do. So to all the Gen Zs who would listen to the podcast, like, don't be scared. Like, this world is yours. You have the time. You have the
Yeah.
opportunities. All you need to do is that explore those opportunities and pave your way into it. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think being patient is also another thing that I feel like a lot of them aren't these days. What do you want your legacy to be, Arnav? You've mentioned this a couple of times. I'm curious about, like, what do you want your legacy to be?
My legacy is very simple. I want to have 3 different companies: a fun one, a serious one which makes money, and a one which impacts the community.
Yeah.
So 3 companies providing different values. I also want to build a good work-life balance, and that's what I want to be known as an entrepreneur. Not someone like Elon Musk who hustles like 20 hours a day, but someone who has actually built a legacy with family values, traditions, and has scaled up based on the technology advancements as well as the opportunities of the West. So my legacy in a nutshell is being the best or being different from the rest. So either I have to be the best in what I do, or I have to be completely different from the rest in terms of what I do. So that brings me to my initial dream of, building something around people, building something which people will be proud of, people will be benefiting from, and people will be the ones driving it. Because as a figurehead, I have a lifetime of maybe 70 to 80 years, and that's it. But as a business, my figurehead value is for a legacy of at least a century or more. And that's what I want to promote. I want to promote culture and a thing which can go beyond my name, beyond my age, and stay and impact. So no matter when I started at 16 years old with the first company or my first idea helping my high school folks, it still continued for the last 6 years. And that's what is building a legacy. And a legacy which I'm happy to see and look back upon and feel proud that, the people benefited, the people are still benefiting, and the people will benefit in the future. So past, present, future, everyone is happy. And that's what I envision my legacy to be. But again, I'm still 22. I still have a lot of things to figure out.
Might change, might not change. Yeah.
And so it's one step at a time, and I'm excited how it goes.
Yeah, Gary Vee uses this term like rockstar entrepreneur. So I feel like you're trying to like strive for that, someone like really has fun as well while being an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's you're one of the few people who I've talked to. Like, most people I ask about legacy kind of like skip over that and be like, they don't care about legacies. You're actually the first person who I've seen like care so much about the legacy. So I guess one thing I wanted to go is, like, when I was like searching about you, I noticed that like you're very like I guess like almost patriotic about like your UBC like business school and the classes you took and stuff. And so I wanted to like get an honest response from you, from a point of view from someone who I think actually benefited a lot from going to university in terms of entrepreneurship, which is very opposed to a lot of other people who have interviewed before, and like just people who usually have their say on how useful universities are for entrepreneurs. But for you, it seems like it has been useful. So I wanted to ask you, like, what sort of like value do these colleges can bring into someone who want to be an entrepreneur? Yeah,
absolutely. So again, the Gen Z mentality is drop out of school and focus on your business.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I was also having the same mentality unless and until my Indian mom told me that she's going to slap me and whack the shit out of me, that I should not be the one considering dropping out of school. The thing about university is no different than a kindergarten school or a playgroup school.
Yeah.
Consider yourself about 15 years before. You were a kid and you did not know how to make friends. You did not know how to get out of the house, and you were shy. All of us are. But when you went, you made friends, you started doing hobbies, you started learning new things, you started finding passion, you started finding interests based on whatever it is, whether it's music, art, science, whatever it is. You developed yourself as a person between the ages of 3 to maybe like 18 years old.
Yeah.
And that entire period is the period of self-growth and development. For entrepreneurs, university is the same thing. University is not about what you learn inside the classes, but more of an opportunity bag in which what you can take out of it.
Yeah.
So UBC per se did not teach me anything in terms of business. My business school degree in terms of classes and lectures has not helped me much than what Dine has taught me in the last 4 years in terms of actually scaling it.
Yeah.
However, what Sauder, my business school, did was provide me opportunities. It introduced me to the right people. It introduced me to the right peer group. It gave me the opportunity to scale my ideas and make a personality out of it.
Yeah.
So I would say that for people who are considering universities and are also considering to be an entrepreneur in the future, this is the time where you can be vulnerable because all your opportunities are there.
Yeah.
Even if you fail, you will have plenty of more opportunities. You will have different paths to explore. And the best part, you're not going to be alone while doing it because there will be someone else trying to do the same thing. Someone else from a very different background than you, having the same perspective. And that's what brings like-minded individuals together.
Yeah.
And brings back to my point of actually building businesses with people.
Yeah.
So university has been great. And I would definitely give UBC all the credits in terms of giving me the opportunity, giving me the room for growth, as well as the push I needed to learn on how to do this better. But of course, there's both plus and negatives of it. If you don't know how to manage time, and you will initially
it gets difficult. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not impossible. You can do both the things together and still have a balanced life. And I guess, I would only say that you have to be focused, you have to be passionate, and no matter what you do, whether it's academics or building a business, just put your entire heart to it. Like, focus and be present in the moment. So if you're in a class, focus on the class. Don't worry about your business. If you're running your business, don't worry about the class. Just focus on your business. And using simple things, just live the moment and enjoy what you have at that present instance. And that will help you go a long way.
Yeah. That was amazing, Arnav. Thanks so much. Those last few sentences actually makes it up for a good way to end this. Importance of being focused and, narrowing down what you want to do and, focusing on building a legacy long term. Yeah. And I hope you, Arnav, get that special lady that you were talking about. And, you continue building businesses and impacting the world and inspiring other people. And so, thanks so much, Arnav, for your time. If you have anything else to say before we wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, I guess, thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah.
I hope people who listen to the podcast will have questions as well as will learn something new. It's not my opinion to influence others, but rather to share my journey to inspire others and tell them that this is something you can potentially do. I'm not perfect, so don't copy me. But at the same time, I am someone who has seen a lot of things come up and down. And I was just here to share my experience. So thank you so much for having me. And it was a pleasure talking to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Arnav.
Yeah. Thank you so much.